It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go. Thursday show, June 27, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Feeling good, feeling great. Got the Detroit Tigers jersey on that they gave me on Sunday when I threw out the pitch. Figured I'd represent, go Tigers. I'm happy to be here with you 3 days in a row.
Look at that.
For the team, the whole
man.
squad.
Just wait till football season. I'll be back with you.
Oh, speaking of football season, Tom Mazaway, I guess I introduced you with this. You know, today we are 1 month away from training camp.
I love it, man.
30 days away.
I love it. Hey, we're in the dregs of the sports world, but the NBA draft was pretty good for us last night, I think, and at least we got to talk about it. And I can't wait to bring this one gentleman up once we get rolling into the show. He really sounded like a guy the Pistons could have used.
You're very excited about one particular player.
I am.
We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes, but we'll get right into it, guys. NBA draft last night. Here's what the Pistons did with the number 5 pick overall.
The 5th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Ron Holland II from Dallas, Texas, and the NBA G League's team Ignite.
Ron Holland, 18 years old, but those close to him tell me that he is just wise beyond his years. He averaged nearly 20 points a game for the Ignite. As Jay mentioned, he did sustain a thumb injury in January, missed the rest of the season for what he says was precautionary reasons. But in his spare time, Andrea, he enjoys playing the drums. Last summer, he held his first Hoops and Health youth camp in Duncanville High School in Texas.
So there you go. There's Ron Holland, a 50-1 long shot to be taken in the top 5 of the NBA draft. 50-1. Now,
I never talked to him.
Braylon, I gotta say this. Nah, it doesn't. I was gonna say Trajan Langdon better get this right. Yeah. It doesn't matter. The one thing about this is it feels like Trajan Langdon, right off his first impression to me as a Pistons fan is, I'm the smartest guy in the room. To be a 50-1 long shot, to be a top 5 pick, not on anybody else's radar. I'm the smartest guy in the room. We're going to take this kid, 18 years old. Now, not to say this kid's a bad, but I don't know this player from Adam. But he's 18 years old, 29 games, ruptured tendon, can't shoot. Going to work on the shooting, though. But nonetheless, I just keep going back to that 50-1 to be a top 5 pick in the NBA draft.
You know what? I took a different approach. Now, I'm just looking at it like this. We asked Tim Mack on the show yesterday, who was he looking at? Was this typically a horrible draft like everybody said it was? In his words, it's not the best draft ever, but there are a couple players, if you do your scouting, if you do your homework, if you really feel confident in the guy and what you bring to the table, 50-1 odds, you know what's funny? There's another team downtown Detroit that their GM takes similar paths. He does not draft the guy that's most likely going to get drafted. I'm talking about Brad Holmes. Now, Brad Holmes has gotten it right over some time, so there's a track record there. So he deserves that credit, and it's a similar, different situation. But sometimes you got to take different approaches. Sometimes you can't go by what everybody else says. Everybody says you should draft Donovan Klingman, or you should draft Matzelis, or whatever his name was. Those were the two that were sent here. Year and year again, you're getting the picks that people have lined up for you. The year before that, it was Asar Thompson. The year before that, and so on and so on and so on, with the exception of Halliburton and Donovan Mitchell. I think last night you saw a guy in Trajan Langdon that's come in here. He's hired a few of his coaches. He's got some of the staff together, probably keying in on the guy that you like to. And Sweeney, go ahead, KG.
No, and I just want to preference, kind of in Trajan's defense, he did come out and say that they were trying to trade that pick. The day before the night of and then the calls kind of dried up once the draft started. But originally they wanted to trade the pick. He also said that they needed to be prepared to take a player. So maybe this was a player that was on their radar the whole time. I do understand they didn't talk to him, but it seems like it was maybe a part of the plan.
And we got some sound and all that stuff we're gonna get to in a minute. But go ahead though.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, and that's where I was going. At the end of the day, you wanted to trade the pick, so you didn't necessarily want the pick. The trades dried up. There was nowhere to go with it. So now you got to go to the guy that you've been scouting. Maz, tell me if I'm wrong. In this draft, in this particular day and age in the NBA, especially this draft specific, anything is taking a chance. Any player is taking a chance. Mm-hmm. Anything is a long shot. Anything is a, you know what, I can't believe that paid out.
In
or,
a draft like
you know
this,
what, it makes sense that didn't pay out. So I think this may be a situation where they've been looking at Ron Holland II a lot longer than we think. They may have been looking at him since they was in New Orleans when they knew that this was a potential situation was going to happen. And this is the long shot that they chose to go with. Yeah, he can't shoot. Nobody else in this draft really can shoot either if you want to look at percentages. Except for two possibilities. So I just think they went with a long shot. But I think it's a long shot that they scouted. Remember, we said the same thing about Brad Holmes in his first draft and then second draft. And then we realized he knew what the hell he was doing.
What did Timmy Mack tell us yesterday about the Pistons' entire team? They can't shoot. They picked a guy that shoots like 30%.
24 to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
50-1, like you said. Looks like a great kid. He's 18. What's another thing we said? Draft a kid that's in his 20s. They go backwards. He's the youngest kid now on the team. The one thing I liked is it looks like he's going to keep Jaren Duren because they didn't take your guy.
Klingman.
They didn't take Klingman.
Yeah, I mean, Klingman, whatever. It's just,
fine.
I knew him.
He looked like a great maitre d'. The kid looked great last night.
Winner. They got to get some winners on the team.
He's a winner.
You know?
But can I skip ahead for a minute?
Please.
Before we play any sound from the Pistons. Pete, play pick number 17 for me, and then what they say about pick number 17.
There's two cuts here. Does he know which one it is?
He does.
Okay. Pick 17?
That's Dalton Connect.
All right, hang on. Let me get it for you. Go ahead.
Back to back.
Where's James?
Get it together, Pete.
No.
Okay,
I just want to make sure I have the right one here for you. Hang on, here you go.
Let's just play.
17th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Dalton Connect from the University of Tennessee.
Connect. He can flat out score. He is such a lights out shooter. Catch and shoot from beyond the three-point line. He can get the ball off in transition off of the dribble from beyond the three-point line. He can finish in the mid-range. Any angle, any depth from the three-point line, it does not matter. But he can finish on the inside too. He's got great length. The scoring ability of Dalton Connect will translate immediately to the NBA level.
He's the Roy Hobbs of basketball. Came out of nowhere this last year to be first-team All-America. And his opponents in the SEC had connect rules in order to guard him.
He could score. What is he, like 23 years old too?
Yeah. Grown man body already.
He played at Little Caesars Arena. I got to look at him up close. So did Kool-Aid. We saw him when he got here for the Elite Eight. He's a hell of a player. And he's going to the Lakers. And you're going to hate him because he's going to score. He's going to be that guy. You're going to be like, can't somebody cover this guy? He was the perfect Piston. I don't understand.
Also,
how do you not take this kid?
Two things about him, as I think it's kind of like being in a casino, Ryan Ermanni. I think you can attest to this with your brother over here. It's like being behind. Once you're behind, you start trying to make these great moves. You start trying to make these great things. You start trying to risk it all just to get back to square. Just to then be able to have a chance to pick.
I've been there.
100%. We all have, I believe, in this room. I know Pete probably has, as you call him, the degenerate. But sometimes you're grasping at the stars. And I think this was that move for them. They look at Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect is going to work with the Lakers because he's going to play with AD. He's going to play with LeBron. He's going to play. It's a system. The system perks Pippen. It's like Austin Reeves. How Austin Reeves has success. I don't think he would have came here and been ready to have that success because who's he going to have it with? He'd have probably came here and they'll probably put everything in his lap, not named Cade Cunningham. So he wouldn't have that type of success here, but definitely with the Lakers. I just think you're reaching for the moon. Once you're picking at 7, and all the Parisian kids are off the board, the Kentucky kids are off the board, the UConn, with the exception of Klingman's off the board. You know what? Let's go up big or go home.
Look, let's be honest about this whole thing, okay? There is not one
He did
player.
look good in the highlights, though.
There's not one player that Trajan Langdon could have taken at 5 last night.
And made us happy.
That anybody would be happy.
Yeah.
Nobody would be. I mean, that's just a fact. The problem with taking the 18-year-old is this, and it is no disrespect to the 18-year-old.
He's 18.
He's 18.
Yeah.
Okay. For the Pistons last won an NBA championship when?
2004.
That was 20 years ago. They last won a playoff series when? 2008. Okay. How long ago was that? 16 years. Okay. Just a playoff game. Okay. We're not talking about an NBA championship. The last time they won a playoff game, a single one, was 2008. Let's just say Ron Holland, when he's 23 years old, he's going to be a stud.
That's 5 years.
Ron Holland is 23 years old, going to be a flat-out stud. How many years is that
4.5.
from now?
5.
Yeah.
5 years. So you're talking about 5 more years before you get any returns on this young man. 5 years. And that's a 23-year-old, okay? Not talking about 24, 25, 26. Talking about just to get him to 23. That's 5 years. You're going to make me wait another 5 years? You know, and look, we have not seen free agency. We have not seen any trades being done. Mm-hmm. We have not seen that. So I don't want to go overly crazy.
There is one today. The Pistons did get
pick 37.
From Wendell Moore Jr. from the Minnesota Timberwolves. They take him. They take pick number 37. They give up pick 53. 53, whatever.
I had a good point coming in, too, about 53, because you have 54, 53
Make the
Detroit,
Lakers move up.
53 Detroit, 54 Boston, 55 L.A. Lakers in the second round. But nonetheless.
Bidding war for Brian.
But
so the T-Wolves are going to take Bronny, right? Is that what you're going to tell me?
Well, I'll get to Bronny James in a second. So that is where I'm coming from when it comes to taking the 18-year-old. In and of itself, when this guy is 23 years old, he should be making an impact in the league. 23, 24, okay? That's 5 or 6 years from now. That's an awful long time, especially when you've been bad, as long as the Pistons have been bad.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree with that, and I don't necessarily have any holes in that, but the only thing is, Ryan, the average age of these players now is 19, 20 when they get drafted. 18, 19 when they get drafted. I mean, the majority of these guys in the draft play 1 year in college, or they've played in overtime, or they've played in G League Ignite. So most of these guys are going to be 19, which he will be towards the end of this year. It's going to be 19. It's going to be a young league. Like, they're drafting players younger and younger. Like the Jalen Brunsons and the Donovan Klingmans, they're far and few in between.
Yep. Let me, I'm going to get to Trajan Langdon in a second, but I want you to hear from Ron Holland. Here he says he's ready to bring the energy to Detroit.
The first thing in your feature is your energy. That's also the first thing that jumps off the page. Where does that come from in terms of how you approach the game?
I think that comes from my family. Growing up, I grew up around a competitive family, super competitive with my uncle's side. Really just a lot of competing with anything when it comes to playing basketball, going in the street to race, and I think that was built into my family, and that was instilled in me, and then that has carried me throughout my whole journey. So I got to take a little bit of a sidebar around, because as we were preparing for this, you're 18. Your favorite artist is Teddy Pendergrass? Yes, ma'am.
Tell me more.
Some people say I have an old soul, but I get it from, listening to all the music my parents listened to growing up. I really enjoyed listening to it, and then one day I just threw it on in the workout, and it was history from there.
Well, the Pistons locker room better debate whether you could be the DJ or not. Congratulations, Ron.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I like Teddy Pendergrass, too.
Oh, as soon as I heard that last night, I said, this is my spirit animal.
Close the door.
I was sick. Close the door. Let me give you what you've been waiting
to Teddy.
for.
Oh, it's my
Baby, I got so much love to give. Anyway,
look at you, man.
I want to give it all to you.
All right, Bray.
Hey, you like that, right? I appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you know what my 8th grade graduation song was on stage?
Higher and higher.
No, go back to Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Oh, I Miss You?
No, what was their biggest song?
Man, I Miss You's my joint. That's when Teddy broke off. That's when he got up out of there.
It'll come back to me.
It'll come back to me. But going back to that, just having some fun for a second. We talked about him not being able to shoot. We've talked about maybe they should have took somebody else. Let's talk about the positives of it all. The first thing he said was family. And then Teddy Pendergrass. I mean, that's my spirit animal. That's why I wear the beard. But he talked about his family, and when you're looking at a kid, when you're looking at somebody that's about to join your franchise, join your city, you start paying attention to the things and you want to pull and see what this person is. He talked about his family 3 to 4 times. It tells me somebody that's dialed in, tell me it's a good kid you have going on. Also, the Texas energy is different. Those guys come out a little bit more ready, a little bit earlier. Like the guys I played with in Texas when I was playing in Michigan, or the guys I played with in Texas when I was playing in the NFL, guys were different. Guys were a little bit more mature. Guys had they were locked into competitive nature. But I just feel good energy out of this kid, and I don't know if that means anything. But Teddy P, Texas, good energy. And he had a lot of positive things to say about him in terms of his career. It's 26 games in the G League. I understand what it was, but he could ball. Go ahead, KG.
By the way, it was wake up, everybody.
Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed.
8th grade graduation song.
But Trajan also said that when they spoke to the kid, he's a kid that knows his role. He's a kid that's ready to come in and work. And Ron Holland himself comped himself to players like Jaylen Brown, Jaden McDaniels. So that's the type of ilk he wants to be in.
But I think the way I feel about it is not about the kid.
He's a good kid.
I mean, he's a great kid.
I get your side.
He's a great kid. We love Ron Holland. We're rooting for Ron Holland. We need Ron Holland.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, we need him.
I get your timeline point, especially if you're going to sign K to a long-term contract, there needs to be a sense of urgency there because K's not going to continue to just take these 14, 20 win seasons. Eventually he's going to want out because he's a player that wants to win. So it is hard for Pistons fans to believe in this pick just because of the track record of Pistons developing players. It's not there.
You ever see Rocky 3?
Yeah,
100%.
All
right, in Rocky 3, in Rocky 3, when Rocky and Apollo, when Apollo brings Rocky back to the gym. And Paulie's kind of messing around, and Apollo takes Rocky back to the gym in California. And he says, "Well, it takes Paulie about 6 years to get adjusted." Well, I ain't got 6 years.
Yeah.
Apollo says to Rocky, "I ain't got 6 years. I ain't got 6 years with this team."
Right.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I ain't got it. I've given them everything I have. This basketball team. I ain't got 6 years to get good. You better get good quickly, or you're not only going to lose me, you're going to lose the entire city. And I say nobody cares about you.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about you. Play this Trajan Langdon for a minute, okay? Trajan Langdon on possible future assets. And I'm going to tell you something that he said last night that nearly knocked me off my chair.
I don't think of course I would have been elated if we could have been able to collect an asset, move back, and get a player of Ron's caliber. But I think we're very, very happy getting Ron at our pick this year. I think it was our intention to find a player that we really liked and didn't want to move back and get a player that we didn't like while gathering assets in the draft. So I think that was definitely something that we thought about in the process, not only leading into the draft, but also when we were on the clock. Look, we have space, so we'll listen to calls. We're getting calls already on some things, but we're looking for future assets, a little bit more than assets in the draft right now. And I think we'll be thoughtful and we'll be process-oriented around those that we take in. I don't think it's going to be something we jump on right away if we don't think it's the right asset value or something that, again, like I've said before, helps bolster the growth of our young players.
So that's on building assets, acquiring assets. He would have liked to trade the pick, didn't have a great. Hey, I think sometimes the best thing to do is to stand pat instead of take a bad deal. So that we'll give Trajan Langdon one there. Trajan Langdon. One of the things that was revealed last night, this was such a surprise because Ron Holland did not work out for the Pistons. They did not interview him. There was no contact with Ron Holland at all prior to the Detroit Pistons selecting him 5th overall. Did you hear what Trajan Langdon said last night when he came to the podium?
What did he say, Ryan Ermanni?
Agents did not want their players coming to Detroit to work out for them.
I read that during the week. Yep.
Agents did not want their players coming to Detroit or the Pistons selecting their players. How many times have I come in here specifically over the last year and said that this is an agent league?
Mm-hmm.
This league, the NBA, is all about what the agents want. The agents pull the string. Not only are you not getting any free agents, ladies and gentlemen, you can't even get a kid. They don't even want to send their kids to you. That's how bad this organization is right now.
We're like bad babysitters.
So you've got that working against you. The only thing you can possibly do is work through trades and pray. Yeah. Work through trades and pray. And there is something else you can do. And I said it, Braylon Edwards, months ago, and I'm going to say it again. The Pistons must draft Bronny James tonight. They absolutely have to draft this kid. I was going to say draft him at 53 before the Lakers could get him at 55. You've now since traded that 53rd pick, and you've got Wendell Moore in the 37th pick. You must draft Bronny James at 37. There is no player that you will draft at 37 tonight that will be as good for you as Bronny James will be good for you. And Bronny James doesn't even have to wear a uniform. He doesn't even have to step foot in your building. All you have to do is get the rights to Bronny James. And the agent will make sure that they put Bronny where he's supposed to be, and you will get picks. It's the only way that you can try to win tonight. You're not going to get a player tonight that's going to help you, except one. It's Bronny. And I'm sorry, I'm not just saying things. When the general manager of the team, when the president of the team comes out and tells me that agents don't even want their players near you, okay? They don't even want your players to work out for you. You're not dealing with reasonable, rational, a normal organization. Would a normal organization draft Bronny James tonight at 37? No, they wouldn't. But drastic times do call for drastic measures, and this is one. You just heard Trajan Langdon say possible future assets. What will get you more possible future assets than LeBron James's kid?
I don't know. Yeah, and I guess I guess it has to be the move. You know, I'm just listening to Trajan Langdon. I'm just trying to, hear the conversation, and Detroit's in a bad spot. They've always been in a bad spot. We said they were in a bad spot. One, the league doesn't like you. Two, they allowed the this is how you know the league doesn't like you. They allowed you to be bought by an owner that cares nothing about you. It cares nothing about the basketball organization. It cares nothing about Detroit and the proud basketball city that we once were. And I use once because it was a once, and it seems like it was a lifetime ago. So with that being said, you got your hand behind your back. But I just understand that Trajan Langdon's coming here with some type of plan. You don't take the job in Detroit. Let's look at it that way. Mm-hmm. You don't take this job in Detroit where you know we are a circus to a certain extent, where you know it's an S show.
We would have a coach, Brian.
100%. So you don't take this job unless you have some kind of plan. You look at the Pelicans last year. You say, why didn't you draft the guy that can shoot? Well, most of these guys in the draft can't shoot with the exception of two. And you did bring in Vincent, who was a shooting coach pro.
He brought him up.
They were the number 4 shooting team by threes in the NBA last year. Talking about the Pelicans. They were number 4 in the league.
Fly Pelicans.
They're always in the top 10 since he's been there. You bring him in to get this class going right. You bring in another coach who's the assistant to the guy that you're probably bringing in to be your coach in Sweeney. You have to get things lined up first. You have to fix the structure. If you can't start at the top and you can't fix it from Gores and you can't fix it with Arm Tellem and his son, then you have to fix it with the coaching staff, a staff you believe in, a staff that understands each other. They want to work together, and they're here together. Trajan Langdon is trying. And at the end of the day, I support the effort. I don't know what it's going to be, but I can't just keep sitting here and saying the same rhetoric, which is we suck, which is the owner sucks, which is the league doesn't like us, which is, we should have drafted this player. It's a tough crapshoot. At least Trajan Langdon seems like he has a plan, and he's being honest with us at the podium. I mean, he's telling us what it is. Look, I wanted to trade the pick. Like, don't we give Brad Holmes and them credit for honesty and being forthright? He said, look, I wanted to trade the pick, but trades dried up. We didn't interview the guy at all. We never talked to him, not one time. You know why? Because like Ryan Ermanni said, it has been saying, agents run the league and agents don't want them anywhere around the Pistons because it's a failing organization. He gave us that as well. So Trajan has somewhat of a plan, and he's being honest. It's all the best we can ask for. And if drafting Bronny is the best move, I think Trajan might make that move as well.
I love what you said, Rye. I really do. And I take it like, first of all, if they draft him and they keep him, it's PR. At least the team will be talked about. B, if they take him and then the agents, Rich Paul and the gang, say, all right, he's not playing for you guys. I'm going to arrange a spot for him. We'll make sure you get this player and this player.
Yeah, that's
I love what you said there. That, to me, you're absolutely right. I don't know if he'll last to 37. I don't know if he'll last to 37. What's the first pick? Number what?
31.
Okay, so we got 6 picks to go. Yeah, I'm on board with you. And yesterday, I'm going to stick with what I said. And I even wrote McCormick back yesterday. We're in worse shape than an expansion team. Because an expansion team, like the Vegas Knights, they were given carte blanche to pick a player from each team. And the salary cap, they just let him go. And they built the Stanley Cup champion in 2 seasons. The Seattle Supersonics, when they come back to the NBA, will be ahead of the Pistons. They are such in a dark hole. I don't know how the hell they get out of it. Like you guys said, we are on the blacklist. We're done. We've been blacklisted from Hop Singh. We're done. We're done.
Burton, just $5 in the YouTube chat. LeBron will refuse, and the NBA will make a documentary 15 years later about the evil Pistons refusing to let Bronny play with LeBron. I mean, and again, Bray, just this is not about LeBron James signing with the Pistons and coming here and playing for the Pistons and playing with Bronny James. That is not what this is about.
We're holding him hostage.
Yeah, that's and you know, Tim Legler said that earlier today on First Take about the Boston Celtics, because the Lakers pick at 55 and the Boston Celtics pick at 54, and they're like, the Celtics should just absolutely take Bronny James and say, Lakers, we have your son. Make us an offer.
I love it.
Make us an offer. And I'm just sitting here saying to myself, you know, I once joked, I once legitimately said that, you know, I really do believe that the Pistons should take Bronny James at 5. That was an overstatement, perhaps. That probably was one, obviously, that wasn't what. But tell me which player that will, now that we have the information, okay, we now, all of us, have the information about how the league feels about you, how coaches feel about you, what general managers think about you, and what agents, more importantly than anything, we now know what the agents think about you. Somebody put in the chat, $64 million in cap space. They don't care. They'll get their money elsewhere. We'll tell you a story about Hartenstein, who's going to take less to stay with the Knicks. There's so much money in the NBA now. Whether you make $28 million, or you can make $28 million with the Pistons or $24 million with the Knicks.
19.
What are you taking? I know, but I'm just saying, what are you taking?
The less deal to stay away from here.
What are you taking? So
Paul George is turning away $50 million.
Now that you have all of the information, doesn't that make the most sense? Where am I wrong? Where is my logic wrong? I guess that's what I would challenge somebody out there to give me. Is my logic wrong? Because you've got to take a nuke to this thing, KG.
Yeah, I don't think your logic is wrong per se, but I don't necessarily agree with that, because if the Pistons were to take him, there's a very good chance that your bluff gets called. Then what? Then this regime looks absolutely like
goofy,
horrible going forward, man. And I struggle with this with my fandom too, but Trajan did tell you this. They're taking the long play, and I think that's something I had to accept as a fan. There's no quick way out of this, and of course we knew one offseason wasn't going to be able to fix this whole mess, but they're committed on paper, allegedly, to building this the right way. So, I mean, it is what it is. There was no kid really in this draft that was going to put you over the top, that was going to come in and help you day one. The only thing that I can take from this is that he's going to surround these young players with the right type of experience, veteran shooters that this team needs, because he's not ignorant to the 3-point problem. He brought it up in the introductory press conference.
He introduced the 3-point contest three-point contest, the three-pointer in a new way in 1997, 1998, the Alaskan Assassin. I just go back to the Detroit Lions. And it's one of those things, I go back to the Lions. You look at the Lions, and what did you say? Year after year after year after year after year. Because they showed you. They were incompetent in the front office. The owner didn't know what he was doing. You bring in coaches. The coaches didn't necessarily know what they were doing, or they were handicapped at times, so we believe. Year after year. And then you bring in this new regime in 2021. And the first thing you said about that pick, this guy didn't even play football last year. Yeah. He's 19 years old. Why the hell would you get Penei Sewell over Micah Parsons or anybody? Not you. I didn't say you. No.
Somebody over
didn't say you. I did not say you. But I'm saying, that was the thing we said, and it was very similar. The Lions haven't done anything ever. The Pistons haven't done anything in a very, 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 very long time. Bad at the top. And then you hire a guy, and a guy makes a move. Here we go again with this same old song and dance. And now look at Penei Sewell. Yeah. Looks like he's on his way to a gold jacket. It looks like Brad Holmes came in with a plan. Looks like he went against the grain a little bit because he had to do it different. Players didn't want to play in Detroit. People didn't want to come to Detroit. Yeah. They weren't getting it right drafting the same old people that Mel Kiper said the Lions should draft this guy here, should draft that guy there. Don't forget, everybody told us Jeffrey Okudah was the number 1 DB on the board.
Yes, sir.
Was the number 1 DB on the board.
Yes, sir.
But Brad Holmes came in. He did things a little bit different. He changed it up. He believed in himself. He had different views. He had different scouting reports. How many times have we seen things that he's done and people are like, I don't understand that. That doesn't make sense. We give him this grade, and then they came back and changed the grades again and again. So just looking at it from a black hole space or a space where we've been here for long that looks like there's no way out. Ryan's talking about throwing nukes, which I agree with. At least it seems like a guy has a structure, some type of understanding of a vision of what he wants to do. I think we definitely should rock with it because the same thing what happened with Brad Holmes, and it started to change. We started to see change. Like that first year, you started to see change. In the end of the year, they weren't winning games, but they were in games. They were playing tooth and nail when they were undermanned. So I think if that's what we can see from the Pistons with these moves is it seems like they're getting better, shooting improving, rosters understood. You now got a core of 3 of things of that nature. Then you can give them some credit. Right now, the same thing we said about Brad Holmes, like get him out of here.
And also, this is small and a bit off topic, but did anybody get the sense from Trajan's press conference that he's the one in charge, man? I think he's running the show. I don't think that he's got involvement from anybody else. I think this is strictly Trajan's pick. And going forward, the moves that he makes, this is going to be up to him going forward.
Here's the difference, Braylon.
Yeah.
This ain't football. There's no C.J. Strouds out there. There's no Aiden Hutchinsons to come here. There's no Brian Branches to come here and save you. There's none of that. This is basketball. These are kids at a high school that are playing 1 year and going to the pros. There's no LeBron James. LeBron James was a freak. When's the last time a LeBron James has been drafted?
Victor Wembanyama.
Exactly.
Right, but besides him,
once every decade.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Right.
This football is completely different than basketball. You can't. It's like putting a dress on a pig. You cannot fix this team the way they're trying to fix it. And now they're blackballed, as you said. No one wants to come here, and no one's allowed to come here. The agents have put the blanket on Little Caesars Arena. Have you seen? Have we gotten an All-Star game or even a sniff yet? No. We're done. We're done, and I have no idea how they fix this.
I think, Tom, that is the problem. I think that is where all of this furor comes from. You know, you get frustrated when you don't see any end in sight. And I got to tell you, I wish I could come here today and give you some sort of positive, something to hang on to. And I got nothing. I mean, is Cade Cunningham going to turn into a Jason Tatum type player?
No.
Is Jaden Ivey going to turn into a Ja Morant type player?
With another team, they could, but not with this team.
Is Jalen Duren going to turn into a mini Ben Wallace? You literally have to draft and develop and keep all of these players. And and all of them have to hit.
Yeah.
All of them, especially Cade. But, is Cade Cunningham even remotely close? Do you have and again, you got to take who you got to take in the year that they're drafted, but is Cade Cunningham even 1/10 of what Paolo Banchero is? Orlando made the playoffs this year, and probably should have won that series against Cleveland. Did they win the series against Cleveland?
No, they pissed it away.
Yeah, they missed it. Yeah, they blew it.
So I think that's why I'm so frustrated today, because I just don't see any end in sight. You didn't get Tobias Harris back? Or what did T-Mac say yesterday? I see Tobias Harris and Jeremy Grant. I say, didn't we already do that?
Did that already.
So I think that's where all the frustration comes from, is that there literally is, I see no hope.
This guy Al is calling me a crybaby. He says player development.
Again, that takes 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, and they don't have a track record of it. So I can't
What
be
were
mad
those
at
teams
Joe
again that we have to pass, Ryan? Go over them again.
Hold on. Can you give me 10 seconds?
Yeah, take 10 seconds, because I want Al to know how player development's going to work here in the Eastern Conference.
And again, it just goes back to when I say the teams, think about the age of the roster. This isn't like Los Angeles Lakers. They got 40-year-old LeBron James or
35-year-old AD.
Right, or Phoenix, and like you've got KD on his way out, or 32-year-old. No, you've got the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Orlando Magic, the Indiana Pacers, the Philadelphia 76ers, which Tyrese Maxey, I think, is now the face of that team, not Joel Embiid.
Absolutely.
Miami, I believe in Miami in their structure. The Atlanta Hawks. That's like 8 to 10 teams that you gotta jump. I just have very little faith. I have very little faith in the direction of this thing. But look, Trajan Langdon, he does get time. The only problem with that, Bray, is we've all done the time. It's almost like you're sitting there in prison and they say, oh, you got to restart your prison sentence. That's what it's like to be a Pistons fan right now. Yeah. You've done your 15 years time.
We might get paroled maybe in 8 more years.
You've done your 15 years time, okay? And you think it's the end of your sentence. And then the warden comes and says, hey, you got to start that time all over again. You got to start that clock all over again. That's what it feels like to be a Pistons
fan. And the warden is Adam Silver.
Okay, but here's the real question. In that case, we knew this before the draft even happened last night.
Yeah.
Like, we went into the draft already knowing this. Yeah. I don't know why I don't understand why today people feel the type of way, regardless of who was drafted.
Right.
You guys are upset about Dalton Knecht. Okay. What about
not really, but it sounds.
I'm talking about Maz. What about the other 10 guys that didn't draft Dalton Knecht? How did he get all the way down to 17?
Yeah, I don't know.
If that's the case, how did he slip to 17?
I'm just going to say, you watch his development. That's all I'm going to say.
It's a crapshoot, development, but he gets a chance to develop on a team that already has a situation in play. He's developing under guys that are established and all-pro.
But they're not very good.
But they still.
The Lakers are in a way better position.
They're way better position. Like,
of course.
AD and LeBron were both all-pro last year.
Yeah,
of course.
He's a better fit for their roster. This one, yes, we needed shooting, but like I said, Trajan just
what would have
maybe
been the
wants
harm to have
veterans.
him? Tell me, what would have been the harm to have him over the kid that you took, Ronald?
What's the harm in any of these players, realistically? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I keep getting to the fact. It's not like Dalton Knecht went 8th, or he went 9th, or he went 10th. He went 17th. So what about the other teams in the
let me put something up for you in a minute.
Yeah.
Pete, would you please put up the grades for this draft? The grades from Yahoo, and the only A+ I see is at number 17.
Because he got to 17 for you to draft. It's more so not necessarily you drafting him at 17. Yeah. It's the fact that he slipped to 17 for you to draft him. So maybe that answers.
They said they would have taken him at 5. That's what the Lakers said. They had him. That was their guy, and he slipped to 17, which is a shocker.
But in a draft this bad, a lot of these teams are just drafting for upside. So, like I said, I can't blame the Pistons, man.
I think the only way I would have come in here happy is if we didn't take any player. Be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we didn't take
I want them to trade
just completely traded out of the pick and acquired future assets. I think that is really the only way I probably would have come in here and been like, oh, okay, do that OKC kind of method of rebuild.
We couldn't do it. No one's dealing with
well,
us.
Right.
No one's dealing
When you're
with
dealing
us.
in a horrible draft, in my estimation, if I was sitting in that seat, same draft, same position as Trajan Langdon, I'm sitting there. This is our board. We're trying to figure out what moves we're going to make. I'm not going to take a player that already looks like he has a ceiling. We know what Dalton Knecht is going to be.
Yep.
Like there's no wonderment. There's no optimism. There's no he could turn into this. Dalton Knecht is going to be a guy. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit. He's going to be a good passer. He's going to hit the open shot. That's what Dalton Knecht's going to be. If you're drafting 7 and it's a draft where you're just like, hey, look, I don't know what's what. We can't even meet with players. Just shoot for the moon. Like I'd rather take a kid with a whole bunch of upside. And a whole bunch of upside that may not happen versus taking somebody where I pretty much know where his ceiling is.
You took an injured guy, though.
What Brad Holmes does it all the time, man. We praise him.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
What's the difference?
Right. It doesn't even matter.
Lions start in 30 days.
Right. It doesn't even matter. I do want to go through some of the other NBA. We just go straight through here to the top of the hour. The Hawks selected a Frenchman, number 1 overall. Here it is.
With the first pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Zachary Rizache from Lyon, France, and France's J.L. Boron-Bress.
More celebratory drinks going around for the second straight year. A player representing France.
Yeah, how about back-to-back France? What's going on with the international game? I mean, back-to-back
top
years.
10.
Yeah. Tony Parker's got him going good.
Did you see the kid that who drafted the Hornets? Charlotte Hornets drafted. Like I was looking at him, and I was looking at the guy that you just showed, the number 1 overall. They both had hair like the guy who they're about to play with. Because you can tell the dude that got drafted by Charlotte, the other Frenchman.
Yeah.
You can tell LaMelo Ball is his inspiration. He had the same cut, the same look.
funny.
He shoots the same way. That guy that just got drafted by Atlanta Hawks, that's the same cut that Trae Young wears. 100%.
That's so funny. Donovan Klingman went number 7 to the Portland Trailblazers. I like that player. He's going to be good for them. Look, Portland's in a position, too, where they've got a lot of work to do. Chauncey Billups, we root for Chauncey Billups. And hopefully.
They asked him if he ever saw Chauncey play. He's like, nah, I'm too young.
Isn't that something?
Too young.
Isn't that something?
That tells you.
This was, if you go back to that draft grades, can you go back to that draft grades for a second? Look at pick number 9.
Zach Edey, baby.
That was a desperation move.
Pick number 9, okay?
That was desperation.
Zach Edey, number 9. I think a lot of people had him in that 15 to 20 range. But Portland, again, whoever's picking for Portland, and I don't know Memphis, and I don't know who their general manager is, but
he won't be there long.
But again, that's smartest guy in the room syndrome. I'm the smartest guy in the room. I'm gonna take that. And again, Brad Holmes, like I know you make the relationship. Brad Holmes has now a track record. Like you get to do that one time. You know what I mean? You get to do that one time. Bob Quinn was smartest man in the room syndrome too, and he was out of here midway through year 3.
And his baseball.
He was Jelani Tavai second. We're gonna take him.
Oh, you know why? Because the Patriots like him.
Let's take him.
Yeah, let's take him.
So it doesn't always work. It's Brad Holmes literally is the smartest guy in the room.
But once again, you're right. It doesn't always work. Yeah. But who's to say Trajan Langdon is the smartest man in the room? And that's what he thinks. I don't think he thinks he's the smartest man in the room. I think Trajan Langdon's dealing with a bad situation. He took a chance.
Yeah.
He took a chance just like the Memphis Grizzlies got. It goes back to what I'm ultimately saying. This draft now, the way the NBA works, is all a crapshoot. Yeah. So at the end of the day, sometimes guys are like, let's try this out. Let's see if it works. Zach Edey, 2-time player of the year.
And they wanted Klingon. They were trying to trade up for Klingon, but they couldn't get to him, and he ends up getting selected. So there we have Zach Edey at number 9.
I don't want anybody, and I know people hear what they want to hear. Most people do. I just want to reiterate it feels like smartest guy in the room syndrome. Yeah. Feels like. I'm not saying Trajan Langdon, this is what he's going to be. He's going to be the smartest guy in the room. When you take a guy 50 to 1 to be a top 5. Now, if he goes and gives, insert free agent here, that you've never heard of, a max deal,
Yeah.
then I might start to say that a
I
little
agree.
bit more than that, okay? But it feels like that. It feels like the Memphis guy has a little bit of a smartest guy in the room syndrome. Now, that one move doesn't make that.
Yeah.
It's a progression. But just that's my impression when you take a guy that's not been talked about in that range. And I really like this kid. Now, this was a guy that was mentioned a lot with the Detroit Pistons. He was born in Chicago, from Chicago, and gets drafted by the Bulls. Matas Buzelis, picked by his hometown Chicago Bulls.
He's got the big wingspan.
And was just ball. I mean, can you imagine, Bray, if you were selected by the Detroit Lions or?
Oh yeah, I would have cried, but not in a good way.
Seriously,
It wouldn't have been good.
Well, I understand that.
I'm joking.
But can you imagine growing up being a Bulls fan and
if they were picking third
Back then? No, you're not.
I went to Cleveland.
I know, you're right.
At least Detroit is
You're
the
right.
ground.
You're right.
But you wouldn't have went to Cleveland if you went to Detroit.
I would have went 10.
You wouldn't have had
No,
that
I need that
experience.
money.
Right, you need that money.
I was happy for the kid.
But I was happy for the kid and his family too.
I'm sad for us though, because I think the Bulls might be pretty good coming up.
Yeah.
And this has happened before with the Bulls. It happened with Derrick Rose.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man.
Derrick Rose is born and raised
My
in
man
Chicago.
Chuck
went to
Swirsky is the
Chicago.
voice of the Bulls. He was so excited when they made this pick.
Yeah.
He's like, book it. This kid is going to be the absolute best player in this draft, hands down.
It would have been cool if Chris Webber or I don't want to say Jalen. Chris was much better at the time. I said it would be cool like if Chris Webber could have drafted by the Pistons.
Sure.
Like that would have been a good hometown,
Yep.
or even Jalen at that time.
He might have had to get away
hometown.
from here after the way it ended in Michigan.
Right, true.
But that true, he would
Yeah.
have still been hanging around. He still would have tried to connect
Oh,
him.
yeah.
You know who? Rest in peace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Right, big alleged on it.
So round 2 of the NBA draft starts in about an hour and 12 minutes from now. Couple of guys that were not picked. Well, for the kid from Kansas, Furphy.
Yeah, he lasted in the green room.
And the kid from Duke, Filipowski.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 guys, and I think both are older players. I think both are 7-footer. Filipowski and Furphy is a late bloomer. But those are some of the best available guys. Just I'm thinking about people that names that you may have heard of. Cam Christie from Minnesota, you may have heard of him. Kevin McCullough Jr. from Kansas, you may have heard of him. Cam Spencer, shooting guard from UConn, you may have heard of him. You know, one guy that you will not see on this, I was thinking about this today, on the best available, not even anywhere. There's 4 pages of best available
Jace
on ESPN.
Howard.
Nope. 4 pages
the
of
kid
best.
from Oakland?
Nope.
Goike?
Nope.
No, that's fine. I forgot about
Yeah,
it.
Zach Goki.
Nope. Any more guesses?
Nah.
Let me think.
It's college basketball.
He's
Gotta
a
be MSU guy?
Oh, no. He's a Michigan guy.
Michigan guy.
Shooting with the Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Oh,
point.
my God. I can't think of his
I was
name.
trying to think of his name before, Ryan. I couldn't get it.
The white boy.
Yeah, the white boy.
Yeah,
I said his name too.
yeah, man.
What's his
I did
He
not
won
like
Big
him
Ten
at
Player of the
Michigan.
Year.
The center.
I know.
I did not like
I know
him
what
at
you mean.
Michigan.
God bless. I see
What's
him.
his name? I see him too.
Somebody in the chat.
Hunter
Dickinson.
Hunter Dickinson.
Hey,
Bam, there
We worked
it
it out.
is.
Good
So,
job, Ryan.
I mean, if you think, I was watching the draft last night, and I'm thinking to
I can't
myself,
even remember his name.
You're right.
just how hard it is to be associated with an NBA team.
Yeah.
You think of Hunter Dickinson, who was the Big Ten Player of the Year.
Yeah, 2022.
He's a guy
2021.
that Kansas spent over $1 million on
That's true.
in college to get him to play for Kansas. $1 million, $1 million a year college player, and you can't even get a sniff of best available in the NBA
He
draft.
made his money, though.
But it just goes to show you where NIL now is good.
Yeah.
Because players like this can make some serious cash
Yeah.
and start their life, right?
Yeah.
And get off to a good start. Have a head start on life.
Also, it shows you that college football and NFL are very similar. Like in the means of what works in college football works in the NFL.
Wait, Hunter Dickinson is going back to college, people are telling me in the chat?
It's a very similar game. So you see similar results, so it's easy to kind of like take the same. What works in college basketball does not work in the NBA. There are two games totally different. College basketball, you can still win, Myers, the way you won in the 80s. You can still win the way you won in the 90s. You get yourself a big. You get you a couple guys that can shoot coming off the bench. Look at Zach Edey. You can still win that same way in college. That's why guys like Hunter Dickinson, it's such a different game. You can be the Naismith Player of the Year and not even make it. You saw what happened with the kid from, Kentucky 2 years ago.
Okay, so Dickinson going back to Kansas. But again, I'll deviate my original because I did not know
You wouldn't have been far off.
I did not know that, okay? Yeah. But the reason why he's going back to Kansas is because he's not an NBA player.
Right.
Yep.
He's going back to Kansas for a 6th college basketball season because he's not an NBA player. Mm-hmm. And it just goes to show you how difficult it is to play in the NBA. All these college basketball teams that you see, it is incredibly impossible. This is the elite of the elite.
Can Goike play in the NBA?
No.
Hell no.
No. It's too slow.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not even 0.5.
Well, we're trying to figure out if Hunter Dickinson can play.
Right.
I mean, Hunter Dickinson can't play. But again, I think because of the money that's being thrown around in college sports, you're going to have players. Now, your next lawsuit will be from college players who want to continue on their eligibility past 4 years and say, hey, I'm getting a master's degree. And I should be able to play that 5th, 6th, 7th year because of how much money they're making in college. I think that's your next.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's your next, eligibility.
Right. He's not ready for Europe yet.
Well, you're going to go to Europe. You're going to make $250,000. Or you're going to go to Kansas and get paid $1 million.
Yeah.
Right.
So then, it's so funny. How long could you? That's a great idea. That's a great concept in terms of that lawsuit because realistically, you're thinking about it.
Class action
as long
lawsuit,
as as long as you don't go pro, and you stay amateur status, and I'm suing, why can't I stay in college for 8 years?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Why can't I compete for 8 years? It's clearly not an age thing because we have documentation of players playing in college at 29, at 30, at 28. So it's not an age thing.
It wouldn't be fair, though.
Why wouldn't it be fair?
Because a 25-year-old guy, a 24-year-old guy going against a 17?
Bo Nix is 25 when he was playing.
Yeah.
Michael Penix.
Chris Winkie, when he won the Heisman, was 28
years old.
And he got
drafted at
26, at 27.
I'll have to ask Dr. Pierce about that.
Shoot, Michigan, back in the day, we had brothers. The oldest brother went to the war. They're number 11. The number 11 is retired, the Worcester brothers. All of them wore 11. They went All-American. The oldest brother actually went to college last because he went to the war. So when he came back to Michigan, he was 33 and made All-American.
Damn.
So like we have plenty of documentation of players playing at old ages.
Yeah.
So,
pretty wild stuff, man. Pretty wild
I want to go to med school. I'll be on the team for another 4 years.
Right.
Hey, speaking of wild, last night, Pete, I want to play that video that we talked about at the end of the show. I want to play it now because in case I don't want to lose it. Did you see the kid, the ball boy at the Dodgers?
Yes.
I don't know if everyone saw this. Bray, take a look at what this kid did. He saved Shohei Ohtani's life. Look at this.
How did he catch that?
Oh,
they might have put him on the
team.
team.
And he just hands it off.
Look at the
guy.
Look at the guy in the blue. He looks like the interpreter coming up on the left in between the two.
Put him on the team. He needs to play for the Tigers, man.
Shohei better tip this guy big time.
At the least,
Shohei
one more time. At the least, they hit Shohei on the cheek. Like breaks his cheek.
Takes his teeth out.
Like that's at the least.
Isn't that something?
That ball, that might have got him in the eyesight.
You can see the energy.
He still had his helmet on, so he would have been
okay. That kid should be announced
he's
at Dodger Stadium.
Way, though.
Yes.
Like, look, you see.
I'm telling you, he should be announced at Dodger Stadium at the next homestand.
Shohei's reaction is after the kid caught it.
Right.
That is so cool.
Let him throw the first pitch, man. He deserves it.
Great. Hey, last piece of NBA news, just real quickly. Just want to get it in. OG Anunoby getting a 5-year, $212 million extension with the Knicks.
Yep. Yo, Knicks loading up. The Villanova Knicks.
They ain't had to spend no money.
Yeah.
They're coming, man.
Villanova Knicks.
Pause.
Knicks
They're
coming.
coming.
You see how happy he is now. He was real hot about the Pistons. He was like, well, that's not really my team. The Knicks, on the other hand,
This is
Wait
all
till
my
Tom
team.
Thibodeau
our
runs into the
team.
ground.
I'm just messing with man.
Pistons are his team.
Come on, man. I was 11 years old.
Y'all a little sensitive today.
11.
I'm starting to notice that.
1-1.
Talking about Walt Frazier.
He'll be back when Tom Thibodeau run him into the ground. He'll be back.
Thibodeau's getting canned, by the way, and you will have Jay Wright as the head coach.
You think so?
I do.
I think
Mid-season.
I think Hurley's going to be the next coach of the
That's
Knicks.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
He's
That's
a bunch
fine.
of college guy, but he just already turned. So you think like not next year?
I think you turned down the Lakers because he's
You don't want to go to. You don't want to go over there.
No.
He stays home if he's with the
You want to
Knicks.
play for James Dolan, though?
James don't care anymore.
Yeah, he's got the sphere.
Oh, yeah, right. He's tied up. I forgot.
He's got the NHL draft tomorrow at the Sphere.
Yeah, he's tied up right now.
All right, guys, we'll take a break. We got a top 10 Thursday.
We do. It's a good one too.
Oh, baby.
It's on par with
They
the
all
topic,
are.
man. I
Top
appreciate
10
that.
Thursday. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. All 4 GM brands now under that Les Stanford umbrella. If you're looking for a Buick or a GMC, how about it? Les Stanford Buick GMC, located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And now that Chevy and Cadillac dealership in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue, where they have been for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want. All 4 GM brands now under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com. Together, let's drive. And let's drive on over to Premier Pet Supply, Tom Mazur.
Yes, sir. It's family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, and they are loaded. They got it all. 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, and curbside delivery if you need it. They got nutritionists on call. Give your pet the best. Do not settle for less. You know it. PremierPetSupply.com.
Hey, about KDK Law, dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues. Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10 plus years of experience, 24/7 availability. Just scan this QR code right here above my head, or you can call 248-971-0476, 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you. KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
Don't let her do it to you.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda. A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out PremierPetSupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Now more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss Insurance will make sure that your carrier is not slipping in extra fees. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698, or visit SwissINS.com.
And let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, relax. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. You could walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome. Hey, just before we get to the top 10 Thursday, can I just so the Rocket Mortgage Classic going on at the Detroit Golf Club right now.
My daughter Lil's working it.
This has always been a tournament that hasn't had the, I would say, like the greatest field in the world. But I will tell you,
it's a good field, though.
It's a good field. It's a good field. But Full Swing, the Netflix documentary, has totally made this field awesome. Because like Tom Kim is in this field. I would have never known who Tom Kim is if it wasn't for the Netflix series. Conversely, he's +1. He finished with a 73 today. The leaders are at 6. I'm looking for that Joel Damon too. Joel Damon, who played around with the Oakland U coach. What's his name?
Campy.
Greg Campy. I can't find him on the leaderboard right now, but Joel Damon's in this field.
Is Fowler winning? It's his tourney.
No, Aaron Ray is 6 under.
Tony Finau.
Nick Dunlap, Cam Young,
Finau
Ben
won
Coles.
2 years ago. Fowler won last year.
Got a bobblehead.
Yeah, I don't even see Ricky Fowler on this leaderboard anywhere. Nate Lashley, who I think had a hole in one today. He's 2 under. Joel Damon, -2. How about it? Tied for 26.
Where's Charlie Woods?
Right.
Hey,
that would
I got
be
you covered,
fantastic.
man. Charlie Woods will be here at Oakland.
Ricky Fowler -2 through 7 right now. He's at Will Zalatoris -2, Ricky Fowler -2, Cam Davis -2. Those guys are on the course right now through 7.
I'll be there tomorrow, man. I'll probably see what the field looks like when I place my bet. But no, Charlie will be here. He's playing at the amateurs.
Yeah, Oakland Hills.
July 12th.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so July 21st, July 12th. I may have dyslexic on that.
Can't wait to see that kid.
He'll be here, man. It's
play.
Would you is that somebody that you would follow?
Hell yeah.
You go out there and follow Charlie Woods?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, 100% I would.
Because Tiger would be on the bag.
That's right. Damn right.
It's like a double.
Let's get to it, Bray. Top 10 Thursday.
Top 10 Thursdays. You know what? This was on par with the topic for last night or today. The topic is the NBA draft. So I started thinking after watching the French player go #1 for the second time in 2 years, talking about Zachary. I said, who are the top 10 #1 picks of all time? So I put a list together. I got an honorable mention, and then I have my top 10 #1 picks of all time. Now, these are in no particular order. These are #1 and #1 to me. Once again, this is my top 10, not yours. Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis has a ring. First ballot Hall of Famer. Anthony Edwards looks to take over the NBA. Derrick Rose will always be the what-if candidate, youngest MVP in NBA history. Kyrie Irving has had 3 to 4 lifetimes in NBA, all of them great by skill. Dwight Howard, I think he gets underrated in terms of what he did in his career. Didn't finish it strong, and once Kobe made those statements,
it was
what it was, and you always have to say pause now when you say Dwight Howard.
Seriously.
Chris Webber, and then don't forget about my boy Yao Ming. Yao Ming had skill.
Big
If China didn't make him play year round, you're 7'5", 300+ pounds. You can't play year round. They made him play year round, and that's why he had those bad ankles.
Forgot Weber was taken by the Warriors, to be honest with you.
And the switcheroo is like, oh shoot, you gonna get him with Shaq?
Or taken by the Magic.
The Magic,
but
Right.
yeah.
They got traded that night.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This starts the list. At number 10, we got Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson,
Yes,
number
sir.
10. You know what it was?
The
1996.
original AI.
Only made one, and 100%. Only made one finals, but you know what he did in game one? 48 points, and he stepped over Tyronn Lue as he was doing it, got the win, and then they got the reverse sweep. Number 9, Victor Wembanyama. You know why he's on this list. He's only had 1 year, but you already see what it's going to be with him. He's an alien, and by the end of the year, we knew the pick was worth it, the hype was worth it. If he stays healthy, he'll be further up this list next time we do it. Go ahead, Terry Time Mazaway.
He could have been the savior for the Pistons.
Agreed.
Absolutely could have
the NBA let
changed
that happen.
everything here. Everything changes if they got that pick, and they damn well earned that pick, and they got freaking robbed.
That's the part about the NBA not liking the Detroit Pistons franchise.
I hate them.
100%.
And they openly
freaking
tanked,
hate
so.
them. So trying to get back on track. Number 8, I know it take it back a little bit. He's a little older, but James Worthy, big game James,
Yes,
same
sir.
team
Michael
as Michael
Jordan's
Jordan,
teammate.
and was better than Michael Jordan, at least for one season it was. He gets drafted by the Lakers, and the rest is history. 4 championship trophies, I do believe, for him.
Yeah.
Or was
Showtime
it?
Lakers,
He's got 4 because he's got 1 less than Magic. Number 7, David Robinson. Look, never was a fan of David Robinson.
Admiral.
The Admiral, as Avery Johnson called him, never was a fan, but you can't deny what he did. MVP in 1993 or 94, and then also scoring champ when he had the 70 points. And then when he got with Tim Duncan, they finally won the chip. David Robinson, number 1, 1989 out of Navy. Number 6,
The Dream.
used to spell his name without an H when he first got drafted, Akeem.
Yep.
Then they had the H shortly after he got into the NBA. Akeem, the Dream, swept Shaq in the finals. Swept Ewing. No, maybe
Back-to-back
Ewing
rings.
4-1.
Yeah.
Swept
Fly
Shaq.
Slamma Jamma.
Fly Slamma Jamma, Clyde Drexler, his guy. 2-time NBA champ. 2-time finals MVP as well as MVP himself. Here we go. Top 5. Number 5. I went back and forth with Shaq and Tim Duncan, and Shaq at 3 or Shaq at 4 or Shaq at 5. So I like Tim Duncan at 5. 5-time championship. Never won back-to-back. Craziest stat.
Wow.
They never won back-to-back, but he has 5 rings, has 2 MVPs, and we know what he did. Number 4, Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal.
4 rings, 3 MVPs. The only back-to-back in the modern era, not talking about the Boston Celtics of the 60s, if you will.
Right.
You know who Shaq was. Number 3, couldn't put Shaq above Magic because Magic won Finals MVP as a rookie.
Yep.
Magic Johnson, synonymous with greatness out there. The Showtime Lakers, 5-time champ, 5-time MVP, 3-time Finals MVP. His number. Here's a quick question, Maz, and I'm gonna ask you: does Magic Johnson not get enough credit? Like when you actually break down his numbers, when you look at the championships, the MVPs, the Finals MVPs, the jolt of the game that happened in '79 with him and Larry Bird, does he not get enough consensus to be 2 overall or 3 overall, or even in the top 4, if you will?
No, I think he is elite.
Okay.
And he is looked at as elite. Magic Johnson, no matter who, if you're talking NBA basketball, top 5, top 10s, he's always going to be right near the top. You can't not put him near the top. He changed the game.
Many people from the older times will argue that number 2 should be 1, and you know what? I don't have a problem with that. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, when he was drafted, Lou Alcindor, 4-time NCAA champ. He comes in with the 71 Bucks, wins the championship, wins MVP, scoring titles. He gets with the Showtime Lakers. He was the number 1 all-time in terms of points scored until number 1 LeBron James took that over. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has been winning since high school at Power. Time Mazaway.
Power Memorial.
Power Memorial. I knew you would know. So number 2, and then number 1. It's only fair. He has the most points in NBA history. He'll have the most assists when it's all said and done, the most steals, the most blocks. He'll have it all because he's going to play until he's 60. 4 rings, 4 MVPs. It's LeBron James.
Did they do this on purpose like that? Because LeBron James.
LeBron.
There's no S there.
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
You know what it looks like is Jaime Hawkins.
Right.
I like it that way.
So there you go. That's a top 10. I had to add some honorable mentions in there.
Nice job.
Yeah, I think that list you pretty much can't argue with.
I think 1, 2, 3, and 4 are inarguable.
Yeah, agree.
Inarguable. 5 through 10, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
there is one name I don't see on there.
Yep.
And who was that?
Cade Cunningham. Just kidding.
I wish I had to collide.
I was going to say Mark Aguirre,
Right.
Derek Coleman. It's Detroit. DC with number 1 overall. Yeah, no, Cade's not going to be on this list.
Yeah.
And once
Not
again,
anytime soon, anyway. How about
Yeah.
that? We'll give him a little love here. Give him a little love. Not anytime soon, Bray.
He's a good player.
He's a good player.
He's a good player, but
I
yeah.
mean, look.
That's it.
What would we be doing if we weren't ripping on guys?
Listen, man, he's got no help.
Nothing.
yeah, he does not.
Nothing.
Yeah.
He's got nothing.
Put him on any other team, and you would
man.
know who
Right.
Cade Cunningham is.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost here.
Hey, we're going to talk a little football coming up next. But I did want to make a mention that our good friend is no longer the manager of the Oilers.
The great Ken Holland.
Ken Holland.
He's decided to step away.
Yeah.
I think it was a mutual decision. I kind of knew going into this playoff run, win, lose, or draw, that he was going to walk away. Yep. So that's the scoop.
Was it you knew in terms of there was somebody younger waiting in the wings that they wanted to promote to that job, or he just you felt something else?
I think the Oilers management team wanted something new.
Gotcha.
And it sucks.
Win or lose.
It sucks because he did a hell of a job. And there was a part of me that obviously I feel terrible when I saw his picture and they had like a minute and 20 seconds to go and they looked at the GM, Bill Zito of the Florida Panthers, and you know what he's been doing. He's been throwing water bottles.
Yeah.
He's been so mad because his team almost lost it all. Yeah. Then you see Ken Holland pensive, sitting there with his hand on his chin, just looking down, hoping that they'd score in a minute and 25. They just ran out of gas for him. Win, lose, or draw, he was stepping away. Yeah. And he did.
By the way, that hockey game, like when Sean McDonough was like, "Oh, the Oilers players look gassed out there." Did you hear that?
I love him.
I thought about you immediately.
I love him.
Oh, it went back to the days, man. 2021, 2022.
Gassed.
Would you, if you're Ken Holland, who it clearly seems like he still wants to be a GM. He wants to be the head man running a team.
He wants to be a manager.
A manager, excuse me. I'm sorry.
No, joking.
We're going back and forth with all these different sports.
Joking, bro.
Would you take less of a role, less money, to come here and to be an advisor to the Red Wings, a place you've been, a place you know, a player you know, and you know him now in this space? I think it would be worth it for me. Like, you know what, look, I'm tired. I don't want to have the full brunt of all the decision making. I will come to the Red Wings, help this franchise that I helped build in a sense.
Yeah.
And 50% off. I'm in.
I don't know if Yzerman would want him here, to be honest with you.
Didn't Stevie work with him?
Yeah, of course.
He learned under him.
He managed Stevie.
Yeah.
And then Stevie went to Tampa Bay and had a couple of great players waiting for him there and had a couple of good drafts after that. But he had some stars waiting for him in Tampa Bay. They won, with Yzerman, but he had a great head start. And Steve Stamkos is looking for a big deal. And the rumor on the street is he might be a Detroit Red Wing before you know
I
it.
saw that earlier today. Now, how old is Steve Stamkos?
Exactly. He's not the rookie 22-year-old anymore.
Well, I mean,
he's in his 30s.
You got Patrick Kane on the team as well. He's not.
Patty Kane's not coming back. And
34 years old.
34.
Oh, we're talking age-wise.
Get 2-3 years out of him.
How old
he's still
Stamkos?
productive.
34.
Oh, man.
He's still productive.
That's heavy. That's heavy. I believe Yzerman has got he'll pull a rabbit out of his hat here somewhere. He's going to make a deal.
Well, he's been in 5 years. It's time to make something.
It's time. It's really time.
And you know what, too, though? And this is, I don't know what it is. I'm just going to say it. I think with the way the city responded to the playoff chase at the end of the year, at the end of the NHL year, Detroit fan base was dialed in. Are we going to make it? Are we not going to make it? Are the Capitals going to get in? Are we going to get in? Are the Bruins going to get in? What's going to happen with this game? The energy that was almost rejuvenated that Red Wings fan base and the city to an extent as well.
Hell yeah.
Steve Eisenman had to see that, had to feel that, had to understand. Because of that, you're now like that cut your time in half to where you thought you had to get to in terms of how much time you thought you had before you had to make moves, before you were on the hot seat. People seeing that energy, you can't go from that energy at the end of the season to starting off bad, to starting off, to less than replicable, and then at the end of the season not getting in. I think that energy has people like, Stevie's got to do something this offseason, and they got to start off hot because you can't go from that back to the dark ages.
Tomorrow's the NHL draft, like we said. It's a big night.
What are we picking, 12?
I don't even know what.
Yeah, I don't even know. Doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter.
See the guy in 6 years.
We
Right?
just can't get a draft.
Probably. Unless, of course, you
Tigers
get
and
lucky.
Lions.
Right.
Like, what's his name? Not Connor McDavid. Who did the Blackhawks wind up grabbing last year?
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Connor Bedard.
Yeah, Bedard. There's no chance of getting any of those guys.
No chance.
It's just a curse. It's a curse, man.
Curse to the Detroit drafts.
Jeez.
Gonna get a Casey Mize.
Struck out 10 the other night.
Hey, good for him.
Right, still
Coming
lost.
along. Guys, we're going to take a break, talk a little Lions football. We'll do it next. Baldy's back at it. We'll tell you what he's got.
He loves us.
What he's got to say. And the one player that he is, well, I mean, we all know about Penei Sewell, but the one player who didn't get much out of last year, he's going to be a force this year. We'll talk about that. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm.
What happens, everybody, when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of the house? It tells the bad guys one thing.
So Steelers.
That's right. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. That technology has been proven to work, and those people have been proven to care. So call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today and tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We'll be right back.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Expert Sports Insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of the Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy. Thursdays here with us. That means today, in just a little while. Trust a guy that DMAC trusts. Braylon trusts him as well.
I do.
Dr. Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. Dr. Pierce.
Guys, what is it? 1 month from today, the Lions
start camp, man.
Head to training camp. Yes, and this is one of those years where we believe finally that the Lions will compete for a Super Bowl, and that, based on what we've seen over the last year and a half, we think that is something that is an actual realistic goal. And it starts with players, and it starts up front. Brian Baldinger, who we've had on this show before, we love Baldy's breakdowns. It's just out there. I picture Baldy, during the summer months, sitting there in his home office saying to himself, what am I going to do today? What am I going to do today? I'm going to pop on some game film. I'm going to pop on the film. Which team? There's 32 teams here in the NFL. Which team do I want to pop? Oh, I want to pop on the Detroit Lions. That Penei Sewell guy's pretty good. Let me put a little Penei Sewell in there.
I believe that I would pay major StubHub prices to watch Penei Sewell do just about anything. Like, how many guys are this big, powerful, and can run that fast? Like, you watch him against Montez Sweat right here. He takes Montez Sweat at 6'6", 275 pounds, and he puts him on one leg. Like, look at that back right there. Like, you could put a piano on his back and he could carry it up 8 flights of stairs. Like this right here, he's going to put this end on hockey skates. He can't stop. Like, he's just drilling him right here, widening the hole. I mean, you want to see a breakout player? This Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, he might lead the league in rushing this year as a part-time player. And then you just do this. It's July 4th weekend coming up. How about a Macy's 2-for-1 sale from Penei Sewell? Like, let's block the end, get him down. Oh, we got a guy coming off the edge. We'll block both and let Gibbs just go 31 yards for a touchdown. Like, this is going to be so much fun.
Isn't that great? Isn't that something? That is wild. Isn't that unbelievable?
2 players. Block ball.
What I've always loved about the offensive line position is you can't get a sense of it when you're watching highlights on TV or when they're calling games. They're not going to call it out unless it's something like this, or unless it's something like Larry Allen, or him run, being that big and chasing down the runner. You won't get that credit. But when we have to watch film, Ryan, the next day, when we watch film on Monday and we're breaking it down, and you get the chance to see these guys work. Like, I've been around some damn good offensive linemen. Watching them work is a sight of beauty. It's a thing of beauty because they don't say anything. Like, if a wide receiver has a big day, we'll tell you about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? By the time you see the highlights, I probably already told you. Or the running back, the quarterback, everybody talks about. Offensive linemen, when they do something, when you see that 2-for-1 block like that, they're not going back to the huddle. They're not going back to the sideline. They're not going back after the games. You guys are having drinks and catching up and saying what it was. But when you see it, man, Jake Long had a block like that when I was at Michigan. We were playing against Illinois, and he just picked the guy up and just dump trucked him. And I caught a one-hand catch, touchdown. They called it back, flag on the play, and I was pissed at Jake. I said, man, look, I'm trying to break Desmond Howard's record. Like, I need every touchdown I can get. Went back and watched film that Sunday because it's a Saturday game. I had to apologize to him in the walkthrough. I said, nah, my bad. I'm sorry I talked to you like that. You keep doing what you're doing because it wasn't a foul. Just the ref, he didn't know what to do. Jake took the guy and dump trucked him, but
little hump and dump,
man.
Bray, paint a picture for me. Walk me into those film session meetings after a game, whether it's in college or the NFL. Like just going back and forth. Are you with your position group only? Do you watch with the team? Like, how does that work?
So the way most coaches do it is, you watch. Let's say you lose a game, or let's start with a win. Hey, everybody's cheering, you excited. Coach will pull out some plays from both sides of the ball, special teams as well, that you guys watch as a whole team. He may have about 5 to 10 plays, and you highlight certain things. A great block, great extra effort play, like Jamison Williams running down the field a couple times. Like, those plays have been a big catch, a one-hand catch, a quarterback standing up. But when you lose, they show plays on why you lose. Somebody jogging on the backside of a run play, or somebody not giving extra effort, things of that nature. But when you win, and it's fun, you get in your position rooms and you're sitting there eating sunflower seeds. You're just watching the game and talking stuff the whole time you watch a film. Like, you're like, you got cooked on that play. Oh, look, I put him in the blender and stuff like that. But when you lose, very quiet film study. Very quiet. Like, you have nothing to say. I don't care if you had a good game. You better hush that like you had a bad game, because in film study, those coaches, they don't want to hear anybody talking. When you lose, y'all lost.
Which coach was the most fun?
Rex.
Rex
and Pete Carroll. Like Rex and Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll knew how to put on a show in front of the team. Like, he knows how to bring the team in. He knows the plays to show. Rex is just funny how he talks. Rex just doesn't give a you-know-what. Like,
Sexy Rex.
He said something one time. This is he gave me credit for blocking. Like, he would always give me credit for blocking. Like, he would show my blocks on the highlight board on Mondays. So we're playing the Bengals in the playoffs, and I dropped the touchdown. It is what it is. Went right through my arms. Dropped it. So he stands up in front of the meeting room, and he shows a play where I got a major block. I knocked their safety out, and Sean Green had a 50-yard gain or a 44-yard gain, something like that. He said, now, we got a guy giving extra. He doesn't give a you-know-what. Look at this defender. He's about to pull his ass to his back. Watch the film. You see me knock a guy out. And then in that very same instant, Ryan, he's like, but hold on. But that same guy, he can't catch worth a damn. Put that on. And I dropped the pass. He's like, shh, you can block, but you can't catch. We might need to move you to tight end. But it's just Rex. Like, he can say whatever.
That's
and
awesome.
it's well received. That was great.
That's so great.
One of my all-time faves.
Yeah, absolutely. And his kid now, member of the Detroit Lions coaching staff.
Really?
That's who stole my money.
Huh?
That's who stole. Remember I told you about
He
stole my bread.
He won the March Madness pool.
I won the bowl game stuff.
Yeah, bowl
it was supposed to be
games, that was
one
it.
person, but when he found out his son, who would have been their second entrant, you're supposed to only get one entrant.
Yeah.
But it's the same household. That's two entrants.
yeah.
When his son wasn't winning, he made it top three. So my prize money, it got
got
cut
down
by
on
about,
a little.
What?
He got down on you.
Man, I went to about 11 grand till about 6 and some change.
Man.
Let me get to this one. So Baldy talking about James Houston. Now, James Houston is a guy that maybe a lot of people around here forgot about because he was non-existent last year dealing with the injury.
Got hurt in the Seattle game.
At the end of the year, they activated him, but he never dressed and played. But Baldy are expecting big things from this guy this year.
If you're a Detroit Lion, you got to be excited about the healthy return of James Houston. Remember when he was doing these kind of things in about a 7 or 8 week span? Like, you go back and watch this. It's like Maradona right here. This is like Messi. Watch how creativity is right here. Cam Robinson doesn't know what to do right here. And then the chop. And then the rip. Look how low he is. Like a fine European sports car. And then the violent finish. Whew. Man. I'm waiting and all about the return of James Houston this year.
Let's bet the over on James Houston sacks this year.
What is it?
I don't know.
But isn't that a player that you're really anticipating what he can do, not only this year, but there's pass rushers and then there's defensive ends, guys that can play the position. Like, are you just going to be a bull rusher, or are you going to be a guy that can play the position? Either or, I'm excited to see this guy on the field again.
Yeah, but the one thing about it, now that you have Tyrell Williams as new defensive line coach, now that you have multiple bodies on the defensive line, you can throw multiple looks at different teams. That's how San Francisco and the Eagles have had a lot of success in the last 5 years. Is they had a lot of different guys, but they can get to the quarterback in many different ways. So I kind of forgot about James Houston, but the one thing I remember when we had him on the show before last season?
Oh, yeah.
He told us, and this is sometimes
he wanted double digits.
And sometimes people get arrogance and confidence. They get it misconstrued. They say it can't be both. They say it has to be arrogance. It can't be. I just think he was confident. We asked him about having an 8.5 sacks in the 9 games that he played, and what did he tell us? He said, playing 17 games, I would like to have 17 sacks.
Yeah.
He said, I believe that I can get to the quarterback. I believe that they put me in good positions, good opportunities. So, like, he was speaking on behalf of the team. He was speaking from a unit. Yep. He was just confident in himself. You like to see people have confidence like that. Now he's healthy. Now he's been working with the coach for 3 years. Now you have the new defensive line coach. I think that he could have a tremendous year. How many sacks? I don't know. I would put the over and under around. I would put it at 9. To be honest, I put it at 9.
Yeah.
Wow.
And hope, you know what I'm saying, he would have 9 or more. But I think 9 is a good number. I don't think that's too many to ask when you look at how much improved this defensive line should be, adding Davenport and also adding DJ Reader in the middle.
This team has no weaknesses, man. It really don't. You look around 5 units on defense, 5 units on offense. They just don't have any. They don't have any weaknesses.
I love that you.
Some are stronger than other, Bray, but I just don't see some glaring hole that this team has.
Not like before.
Just look at last year. Like the Lions got all that way. They got that close with skill groups that we thought were super deficient. You look at the secondary by the time we got to NFC Championship. You look at the defensive line and the inconsistencies that they had at the end of the season and in the playoffs. And you know you got better at defensive line. If DJ Reader is just a little bit better than Isaiah Buggs, shoot. If Carlton Davis II is just a little bit better than Cam Sutton. Like if Terrion Arnold is just a little bit better than whoever. If Amik Roberts, Kendall Vildor, there you go. Like if they're just a little bit better than those specific players from last year, who we expect them to be, and that's the floor.
Right.
That's the floor. Right. Yeah. You're absolutely correct.
No, I'm so high on this team. When you think about players, and I didn't even consider James Houston when you talk about some of these groups. You see Baldy's breakdown of this guy, and you're like, dang, man, this is really one of those years that you can look to and say, I'm going to sit there and enjoy every last part of it.
Yep.
Even down to training camp. I'm going to enjoy training camp.
Me too.
And hopefully you get a chance to get out there and see these guys, because this could be one of those special years. 1984, 1989, 1990, 1997, 2004. These are years that we remember in the city of Detroit, because those are years that we won championships around here. 2008, 2002, 1998. I mean, name the year and I'll tell you who won the championship locally here in Detroit. Is 2024 going to be that year that we will always look back and remember that was the year of the Lion? And I think it could be, and I think it might be, and I think it has a really good opportunity to be.
Yeah, no, 100%. You've been watching this team get better and better. We've been watching them improve. We've been watching them improve, not only just players, Ryan and Maz, we've been watching them improve coaches. We've been watching them say, hey, you know what, this secondary coach isn't it. It's not working. Hey, this DB coach, I guess it's the same thing. 100%. You've moved players this situation. So you've added coaches, added players, you moved on from situations, and at every turn, I think you've gone about it through the same process. I think when you have a consistent process of how you're vetting coaches, how you're vetting players, are you being honest with yourself? Are you taking friendships out of it? Offensive coordinators have come and gone. Are you being biased, or are you just sticking with your system? That's how they're drafting players. That's how they're bringing players in. That's how they're bringing coaches in.
This Tyrell Williams addition, defensive line coach, and he's the running back coordinator.
Yep.
I don't know how you split those two positions up, but they really wanted him. This was the right-hand man for the Titans head coach. Titans head coach.
Vrabel.
Oh, Vrabel.
Thank you.
Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
And he coached the team for the Senior Bowl. So he brought all of that to the draft, and now he is the right-hand man basically for Dan Campbell.
Coach some dogs.
It's a huge upgrade.
Yeah. And
I can't wait to see the changes that he instills on these guys. Who knows what Aiden Hutchinson's going to be doing this year? It's so exciting right now to be a Detroit Lions fan.
Watching the Titans over, and Matt, and I throw it to you, Ryan. I know I've been very talkative today.
No, I love it. Please.
When you watch the Titans in the last 5 years over watching the Detroit Lions, the first thing that steps out at me, aggressive, physicality, and aggressive. Like that Titans team, Simmons on that offense, defensive line, those defensive lines that he had in the last 4 or 5 years.
Danico Autry.
I know one. Like they were aggressive, they were attacking, they were menacing defensive line. Where you looked at, you like, man, that's a tough defensive line to go against. Like you're gonna feel that game the next day. Our offensive line, it's more our defensive line, you didn't have that same feeling. You didn't feel like they were tenacious. It's like, they're trying to get to the quarterback. They're doing the best they can. That right there is the first thing I guarantee you'll notice in preseason change. Is the ferocity in which they attack with.
Did you see what that Simmons guy said about
Caleb
Williams?
He did. You can put that up. It's around the NFL.
Can't wait to play.
I can't wait to play him and bust his chops, basically. He cannot wait to start trash talking with Caleb Williams. And they play week 1.
Yeah.
The Bears and the Titans. He's like, wait till I talk about those painted nails of his.
Oh, man.
Just be careful. Just be careful, because one thing we talk about, Ryan, and you and I have agreed, the locker room. It would be tough to have that situation in the locker room, even though it's a new day and age. It's still tough, a lot of that old school mindset. But when he starts balling, all that stuff that people were talking.
Get him now. Get him now.
I'm trying to tell you, he's going to keep receipts. All that stuff you talking. If you talk like this out loud in the media, you better get to the quarterback.
Exactly.
You better get him on the ground.
Yeah.
He better not put up 315 and 2 touchdowns.
Right. He's insulated. He can do that.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by our WSN Injury Insider, Dr. Jeff Pierce. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Wake Up Woodward.
Hey, Wake Up Woodward. Woodward Sports has a new morning show, but we've been around the block a few times, man. It's Wake Up Woodward, the Woo Crew, every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m., live on Woodward Sports. You can join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and myself every morning as we cover all of Detroit's sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction, all on Detroit's #1 sports network. That's Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
All it takes to get in shape, feel great, look good, and also home of the judgment-free zone. So nobody's paying attention to you. You're operating at your own pace. Your fitness is essential, ladies and gentlemen, so that's why they have the 30-minute total body workout right there, right in the middle. You come in there, it tells you exactly what to do on each exercise, makes it easy. Hey, if you want to pay the extra and get the black card, be my guest. But $10 a month is all it takes. Your fitness is essential.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men, and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza is taking over Michigan with a grand opening of their 13th location. That is today, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the 13th location opens on DeQuinda Road, just north of 9 Mile. They are open from 4 to 8. Now, the interesting thing is they are doing giveaways. Soroki's is giving away free pizza for a year. I know a lot of people out there that don't have the means. I'm telling you, that is a way to go. Free pizza for a year, or 3 lucky customers can win up to $2,000 in gift cards. That's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. In about 30 minutes, give or take. 4 to 8 today. Nashville Hot also is back. The pizza, the chicken tenders, the sandwich, and fries. Check that out as well. But you may want to get on those free gift cards. Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza.
Hey, welcome back. It is time now for our weekly segment with our good friend, Dr. Jeff Pierce, WSN Injury Insider from the Michigan Sports and Spine Center. And, of course, we like to talk injuries with Dr. Pierce, but really why we have Dr. Pierce in here is because he's literally one of the most interesting people that I know.
It's like the Dos Equis man.
You need some more friends.
The guy is everywhere. He knows everybody. Dr. Pierce, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you? I got to live up to that.
Right.
You know?
He walks in, And I said, "Did you go to Dave Matthews last night?" He's like, "I chose not."
He's like, "I had to. You know, I had tickets. I just didn't go."
What have you been doing, Dr. Pierce? What's been happening?
Oh, I was up north for a couple days.
Yeah.
But then we had to get back for Tuesday. We had Roger Daltrey at Meadowbrook and little Santana action at Pine Knob. And if you recall the Santana issue 2 years ago, do we all recall?
I do.
Give us a refresher.
He collapsed. He had a massage, drank a bottle of wine, and that was his diagnosis, dehydration.
Wow. What type of massage was this?
This is a professional show, a professional Pine Knob situation. So we had to supply another massage therapist, and we made sure I was there. And actually, for people at the show, he put on a great show. They played for almost 2 hours. And his wife, who's the drummer, which that was news to me. Braylon, did you know that?
I did.
You always know some of this.
I do know some random stuff. That one, technically, I did not know.
There's a new random one you can know.
I'm going to say that one. Pine Knob series is hot right now. I was actually looking at the schedule yesterday. A mentor of mine, shout out to Dan Russell with Tryon, who I'll be with tomorrow at Rocky Mortgage.
I'm going to go into that suite, too, with you, right?
You got to come. You're going with me as well, Cabana 15. But the Pine Knob series right now is heating up, man. You saw Dave Matthews yesterday. Somebody's there today. I think Nelly and Janet are there on Tuesday.
Well, I know you're not a big country fan, but it's
I like country music. Oh, Luke Bryan.
Hoedown is
Luke Bryan.
Friday, Saturday.
Isn't Luke Bryan?
Are we plugging Pine Knob right now or what?
We can be. I mean, I think we're plugging all the people that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, Santana, they played hard. It was a warm night. But his wife is the drummer, and she went for, I would say, a 10-minute solo. So he went and actually poked it himself that you have to be a well-conditioned athlete, poking to the doctors that we have to treat them like that. But she did a 10-minute solo saying how good a shape she's in after playing all this time. And she didn't pass out, meaning he didn't pass out either for the whole thing.
I'm looking forward to going to, I'm on July 18th. I'm going to Comerica Park. It's Journey, Def Leppard, and Steve Miller. You got any stories about any of those three?
Actually, all of them.
Give me a good
Dude,
Journey.
I've been doing this since 2000.
Give me a good Journey story.
No, I got Def Leppard's the
Def
bigger
Leppard?
one.
Yeah, Def Leppard, yeah.
So Def Leppard, do you know who this lead singer is?
No, I don't.
So his name's Joe Elliott. So I'm just getting into this. This is 2001, 2002. And I get a call that the lead singer for Def Leppard is hurt and needs to be seen. I go, what's going on? I go, have him come to the office. Then we had the big office in Troy and all that. So basically, I didn't know who Def Leppard was.
What?
This is 2000. I should have poured some sugar on me and all that stuff, basically. So this story is too long. Short story, my guy, Steve Olson, who runs my office, goes, how do you not know? Tells me the whole thing. I go, so it's not Led Zeppelin. He's like, no. So Joe Elliott walks into my office with a Led Zeppelin T-shirt on, messes me up. I call him the lead singer for Led Zeppelin. No, Doc, I'm Def Leppard. And then he couldn't move his arm. Basically what happened, he's playing soccer in Spain, goes to a hospital. He said didn't really have a roof, so it was like an urgent care thing. They said he sprained it. He says, I haven't been able to lift it since. Turns out, diagnosed him from the door. We got actually an MRI at MRI Southfield that day. He's performing at 8 o'clock. He had a rotator cuff tear. It was obvious, but I didn't want to tell him. We get there, and I didn't realize how popular it was. It was a sellout show at the Palace. Comes off stage, goes, so what is it? I go, well, you have if I would have known you were this popular, I would have been nicer to you. So it was so fun. Anyhow, he goes, so I have a complete rotator cuff. And he goes, do you know how hard it is to complain about an arm injury when you got a one-armed drummer? So that was the whole thing. That was a long story.
Now, is that a show you would go to? Or you not really?
Oh, yeah, because I'm friends.
Yeah.
So we became friends. Yeah. We did rehab. We had a schedule in between because it's a business. These guys aren't shutting down. So we had the microphone. If you know Joe Elliott, he's always lifting up. So we actually taped his arm so he could lift his arm up.
Oh my gosh.
To the mic. So we rigged a few things for him.
Oh my gosh.
Be pretty active.
I might have a rotator situation. I got an MRI in about 40 minutes.
Where are you going?
MRI place.
All right. We'll get you at MRI Southfields. Hook you up there.
All right.
MRI place. They can take some pictures.
Henry Ford. Well, I was born there. It comes natural.
Oh my gosh. Anywho,
where are we?
Well, here's where we are. The Pistons selected a player last night, injured player, but I think he's fine. He injured his thumb. I wanted to ask you about tearing a tendon in your thumb. Is there any concern about any sort of feeling or anything like that getting that back?
Oh, for the love of the game.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's an annoying injury that can be detrimental to your play for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can tape it up. If it's a complete tear, that's a major problem. He's going to go through a complete recovery. And the thing is that you're so sensitive. You have to be so good with your hands, especially basketball players. You can't really get around it. Is it the right hand?
It is his thumb. It is his right thumm.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so that's going to be, I mean, your thumb is really your base of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're playing basketball, taking passes, shooting, that's a big deal. It's one of those little nagging injuries that lead to a bigger issue and longer recovery because you got to get your touch back.
A complete rupture in his tendon in his right thumb.
Yeah, so that's not a good thing.
Big deal.
It's a big deal. But, you know, in today's medicine, we repair it, the rehab, but it's not like it's a timing thing of him having that sensitivity back because it doesn't just pop back. You got to recover, let it recover, not push it prematurely because it can tend to re-rupture, and that's the last thing you want. So if anything, because he's young, early in his career, it's going to be a longer recovery, I would predict.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is necessary question towards Doc. One thing he's got to do, this is going back to the player we drafted, Ron Holland. When they showed the highlights last night, Ryan and Maz, one of the things that I continuously notice, and my girlfriend pointed this out, how many times he was on the ground. How many times he was above the rim and ended on the ground, landed on the ground. That's something they got to watch out. Ja Morant did a lot of that early on in his career, and then you start noticing year 2, year 3, year 4, had a lot more injuries. Stop falling so bad. You got to teach a man how to fall.
Hey, well, go ahead.
It is a balance thing. Like you look at, you know, the quarterbacks, it's your core, but it's your body awareness. It's your, like, I'm going through no matter what. Like, that's what Morant used to do. Yeah. And he had, but his hops were ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, he got up like a springboard. This guy's not, he doesn't get up as quickly, but he needs to learn how to balance. And you're absolutely right. You got to break him down, get him to the basics. You're in the big boy leagues. Yeah. It's going to last for a little bit, but it's not going to be for longevity.
Doc, when you look at the NBA draft, you know, last night, just so many long, skinny kids that are 18, 19 years old that are just trying to figure out their own bodies to begin with. How much time does it take to, I guess,
mature
or really feel your own body, for lack of a better way to say it, really grow into your body?
So, like, we've all seen horses and ponies, right? I call it the pony phase. You're growing, you don't know what's going on, you have balance but you don't have balance, and that's what's going on. You're getting that lengthening of the bones, and like I've always said, the muscles and the ligaments have to catch up. So when you start pushing at that level, you put your body at a disadvantage. And that's where those little nagging injuries come in and things like that. That's really what you're noting. And anyhow, how to put it simply, you have to have that, what I always call the balance, right? The muscle balance, the ligament balance. The bones are growing. It's a natural way. So these kids are doing that. They're growing. They have to have a very good trainer that brings them back, because you don't get those micro traumas. You may get, like we talked about the Tommy John stuff. Why is it happening? Because they're throwing on those ligaments prematurely before the ligament's strong and developed, right? Physiology, you're not going to beat physiology. I always talk about the secret sauce in the locker room. Physiology, we can do that on a mature adult. When we're talking about natural growth, it's like they say, birth. No matter how much you want to rush it, it still takes 9 months. Right. You have to let the body naturally do what it's doing. Do these kids have a little bit more development? Yes. Are they matured? No, their body hasn't matured. You have to appreciate that during the development. The guy has some fast twitch fibers. He may be developing better than the other 19-year-olds. That's why he's being drafted. but he's still not at that mature level where you can say, let's go, full boat. You have to be aware of it.
You know, we talked about this the last time we had you, or last time I had a chance to talk to you. We talked about youth sports and just younger players, though. You know, maybe a 12-year-old throwing a bunch of curveballs. Their bodies just aren't mature enough to be handling that kind of stress on their arm, their shoulders, their elbows, anything like that.
No, I mean, that's really, you know, like we were talking about, what's leading to all these new Tommy John injuries? You know, is it that they're throwing harder to get to the next level? Are they prematurely beating on the body? Absolutely. You can get through it as a young kid, but it's going to catch up to you. You know, how many pitches, how many rotations? You're talking about immature bones, the bone growth. We talk about this fracture. Is it through the growth plate? Is the ligament fully developed? No. The answer is always no. You know, you don't want it through the growth plate. When you talk about, you know, throwing, pitching, you're like we talked about the one player that I told you about. He's throwing. He thinks it's all in the wrist. He doesn't realize what the shoulder and the elbow are doing. So did he get a teacher at the right time? Did he watch a video? A lot of kids are watching videos now. They don't have someone saying, look, your basics need to be here. You get steps. You have to take step A before you go to step B. A lot of these kids want to go from, you know, A to Z right away and develop, and they'll get through it, but it will catch up to them. So no, I think I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. And I want to, you know, transition to more youth sports for a second, if I could, because, you know, the other night I went to watch my nephew play. My nephew's going to be a senior in high school, and they've got 7-on-7 football drill, you know, drills, and just all of like when you go from 0 to 60 right away too, like. When you do all that stopping and starting and cutting and all those things, the stress that you're putting on your lower half, what are some of the things that you would tell people, whether you're, you know, a high school athlete, whether you're a youth athlete, or whether you're a pickleball player that is, you know, picking it up and picking up a racket and trying to go, you know, from 0 to 60 and just start a bunch of physical activity right away?
I mean, you can't do it, right? The answer is be simple, be smart. 0 to 60 is never good. In an age group of younger age group, yeah, they can do it a little bit better. You know, we're talking big about plyometrics. Plyometrics is finally becoming popular. We've been doing it at Michigan Sports and Spine for 25 plus years. The understanding of the explosiveness, what you're talking about, the change of direction. I've talked about foot and ankle as the most disrespected part of the body. Those are the things that get hurt. Those are the things that you're going to change. The guys that want the beauty muscles doesn't help them at all with that explosiveness, right? It actually will slow them down. So it's all about balance. It's all about that ligament balance. It's all about, is it good? Yeah, if you can develop it. But again, we talk about developing in parallel, meaning in single directions, and then you change directions. So there's a lot of guys, like even on the TikToks that I'm getting now on the Instagram, you know, they're talking about the more dynamic, right? So we started hearing dynamic warm-ups through football. It's a real thing. You really want to have a dynamic warm-up. You know, with pickleball, which is growing as the #1 injury sport.
Yeah, isn't that something?
It's climbing by the week.
Yeah.
Over lacrosse?
Lacrosse, just because of the numbers, has less players. And the age group, when Medicare pays attention to something, then you know there's a problem.
Yeah.
When the government's so stupid, they finally figured out there's a problem there, but I won't get on that soapbox.
Fair enough.
But even with pickleball, the average age over the last 2 years dropped by 10 years. So the youth are coming in and playing. So there is a lot of start, stopping, changing positions. And it's, you know, if you're good, if you're competitive, it's a quick sport. For recreational, it's still a safer sport. But you want to do a dynamic warm-up. We talked about, I told you about Dee, who I took care of. She's #2 in the state right now. She got 100% better. So we're now going to start putting out dynamic warm-ups for the 25-year-old, and we're going to look at the 25-year-old Achilles tendon versus the 60-year-old Achilles tendon, which leads me to the other thing about youth sports. I got a 17-year-old football player. He's about 6'2", 6'3", 230. He's already being looked at a couple colleges. He's a lineman. We ended up doing a PRP injection for his knee, and then I did my 71-year-old. I'm dropping names all day. 71-year-old who's the NHL guy for the Red Wings, his knees for the second time. So he couldn't walk or anything 4 years ago, 2020, and now he's running and dancing.
Wow.
He's like, I go, you were supposed to come back in 4 months. It's been 4 years. He goes, I go, what are you, cheating on me? He goes, no, Doc. I've been dancing, enjoying life, and running and the whole thing. So I was going to get at that we use the PRP. There's a lot of criticism that you use it. You take the blood and stuff from the older individuals. It's not necessarily about the age. It's about your biologics, right? Your biology. You've met the 70-year-old that looks like he's ready for the grave, and you've met the 70-year-old that's going to beat you on the basketball
We'll
court.
see 2 of them tonight. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry.
What'd I miss?
There's a debate tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I thought there's a concert I'm missing.
Are you watching
Those
that
guys
debate?
need exosomes. They should be the poster child for exosomes.
Oh, man. Hey, Doc, did you get to see the video yesterday of Shohei Ohtani in the dugout for the Dodgers?
No,
And the ball boy is standing on the top step. Take a look.
Okay.
Look at Shohei Ohtani's life being saved by this young ball boy.
Oh.
You like that?
That's some fast twitch fibers.
Yep, it's all over the internet. That thing was going right to his face, man.
Oh, that
You gotta
was.
knock
That
out
thing-
some teeth.
That would have been, he would have been done for a bit.
I like how casual the ball boy is.
Oh, yeah.
He is like, that's called a viral video, by the way, Doc.
How do we replicate that? Can we throw a ball at Ryan's head
We
right
need
now?
a viral video from you like that. You got to save, Shohei Ohtani.
There we go.
Hey, Doc, good stuff, my man. We're up against it. We're going to end the show now.
It's always sad.
It is always sad because I feel like I could talk to you longer. But they're, 20 minutes is just
not enough.
20 minutes just goes by and
We got a few guests in the audience.
Who's here today?
Hallie from Traverse City.
Hi, Hallie from Traverse City.
Michael from Ann Arbor. He's
Hi,
a
Mike.
big Michigan fan. Of
course.
Both of them are
Blue,
Michigan
baby.
fans. So I'm going to put them off a little bit to the side. But no, they're here. They want to know what the heck I do all the time.
You forgot Riley. Riley's here.
Riley's always here.
All right.
Riley's
We
my
love
staple.
Riley. That's great. Well, good stuff, Doc. We'll check in with you again next week. Are we? Well, next week's the 4th. Are we? We're
Yeah,
not
what are
doing
we doing?
anything on that.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
next
no.
week's the 4th?
Next week's the
That's
4th.
the
We got to
4th.
figure something out.
Wow, Doc, you want to host the show?
Sure, we'll host it
Okay.
from up north.
I ain't gonna be here.
Check in with our WSN Injury Insider, Michigan Sports and Spine Center, MichiganSportsAndSpine.com. Dr. Jeff Pierce. We're going to get out of here. Maz, we'll see you tomorrow, bud.
All right, brother.
All right, for
Peace
everybody
out,
here,
guys.
KG, Pete Spivak, Dr. Pierce, Braylon's out of here getting that MRI. So long. We'll see you tomorrow night.
See ya.